So obviously I don't really have a lot for you today in terms of, certainly in terms of workshop stuff or water jet cutters or tumbling or machining. So I am having a little bit of a break right now. It is Saturday afternoon as I record this, and I am up, well, we call it down the coast here in New Zealand, about 3 hours from where I live. It is my son's mother's birthday, so I'm up here at her and her partner's house, sort of on a sort of farm station type thing, and dog there, and so having a bit of a chill out, having the weekend completely off. Out of interest, my son's mother is, I don't know if you remember, or I might have mentioned in the past, I've made I've sold like pencil cases along with the titanium pen project and titanium mechanical pencil project, and it was actually my son's mother who made them. She's very good at stitching and sewing and things like that, and she's recently been sort of collaborating with her, and this is what we've come up with. We've come up with like a leather case for the tweezer. So this is the tweezer that I make here. I'll show you this, and what we've come up with is this leather case for the tweezer. So just doing a bit of testing with that case just now, seems to be working pretty well, really good quality, hand stitched, and so the plan is to offer that along with the tweezers, perhaps on the website, perhaps just to people who have ordered the tweezers. I'm in a very rural location, and so it's a short video. There's probably not much I can say apart from, you know, like tell you I'm still wrestling with the subject or the topic of free will. The more I read on it, I've actually discovered that it's not just like one guy saying, hey, there's no such thing as free will. There really isn't such a thing as free will. It really is an illusion that we have in our brains. Like, apparently the scientific community has known about it for years. Now, the cool thing about coming up to a place like this in the middle of nowhere is it forces you to really, you know, get a bit of perspective on life and you know, kind of what's important, and you know what you're doing, you know, because when you're, that's better, because when you're kind of when you're in it, you know, when you're knee deep, arm deep, you know, trying to figure things out, it's hard to step back. And so coming up here in a really rural location, it's kind of like when I'm out at night, you know, I go for a walk and I stand and look up at the stars, and it's really, really difficult not to sort of have things put in perspective. When you do that, you realise how small we are in the universe, and you know, like we're just a tiny planet in a solar system, you know, going around a star that's, you know, one of 100 billion stars in the Milky Way or galaxy, and that's one of 100 billion galaxies, or however many. The numbers, like, once you get up to those numbers, it doesn't really matter. But yeah, it's perspective is important. I think that's what I'm trying to say, and I find it fascinating. I can't, and in fact, the philosophical community or certain parts of it, I've known it for centuries or more, and it's like, wow, that's amazing. How come pretty much all the world is going, oh, we have free will, of course I do, I can make this choice. But in fact, it seems that it's the opposite. Like, we do things, and then just as we do things, just like our brain goes, that's why I did it. But it's actually, you know, our brain makes a justification afterwards. Our brain doesn't go, I'm doing this. We actually do it, and then our conscious self sort of goes, that's why I did that, or this is why I did that. And it's actually, that occurs after what we do, and what we do is, you know, not under our control. Quite an amazing concept, actually. remember how in the last, sort of in one or two of the last few videos I've done, I talked about, you know, how I feel a little bit directionless. I'm not sure what to do. Kind of like I'm thinking about free will. That's some loud cows. So anyway, you know how I was talking about being a little bit directionless? Well, I feel like I've got a little bit of a direction right now. And the reason for that is, as I was driving up, you know, to the station here, sort of for the, you know, my son's mother's birthday weekend, my dad and I were sort of like shooting ideas back and forth, and I came up with the idea of putting a jet engine, a small jet engine, on a skateboard. Like, I think I'm motivated again.